Wonderful news today from gov.uk. Press release. New digital ID to make life easier for millions. Amazing, that, innit? I can't believe they have the brass neck to even write the headline, can you? There's propaganda, and there's propaganda. And if you believe that, you probably believe it's a good idea to leave your pint with Bill Cosby while you nip for a piss. Okay, a press release that would make the Chinese mafia blush. This is amazing. Obviously, I'm going to read you some other sources of news for the latest on digital ID, but I thought we'd start with the hilarity that was the official UK Gov press release. Apparently, the Prime Minister's going to set out how a new national digital ID will bring Britain into the modern age, making everyday life easier for millions, cutting red tape, and putting power back in people's hands. They're obsessed with power, aren't they? They think everybody just sits there eating a Weetabix going, power. I wish I had some power. They do, because they're completely off the tits, but nobody else does. Anyway, let's get the real story from someone slightly more independent, shall we? Grok's take's much better. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer promoted a digital ID system this week on social media and in interviews, highlighting its role in simplifying identity verification for tasks like opening bank accounts and buying homes, while mandating it for work eligibility checks to address illegal immigration. The scheme, built on the UK's Digital Identity and Attributes Trust Framework, finalised in July 2025, allows users to store credentials on personal devices without a central database. And if you believe that, you'll believe anything. Critics from various political sides and polls showing 47% opposition cite risks of surveillance, data breaches, and exclusion for those without smartphones, fueling widespread online dissent. And then obviously, as you never get a headline about the PM without some cringe video full of lies accompanying it, here's the obligatory cringe video.
There are some people who may completely flat out refuse to get a digital ID. Yep. Will those people be fined?
No. This is not something you have to carry or have to produce or anything like that, and there'll be no fining of people for not having it. It'll be something which simply makes life a lot easier. For people who don't have a mobile phone, then this isn't mandatory, so you don't have to have it. It will make your life easier if you want it, but you don't have to have it. We're consulting on what other forms of ID would help them. Again, it won't be mandatory. You can still use your passport or your birth certificate or your 3 bank accounts if you want, however many times. You can choose to pay £85 to a company to prove that you are who you are every time you need to. Or you can take the easy route, which is get digital ID.
Yeah, it's not mandatory, but we'll charge you £85 every time you don't want to do it. So it is mandatory, you lying bastard. And you will have to do it, won't you? You lying bastard. And if you don't think he's a brazen liar when he's talking to the public, well, I'm sure I showed you this video a while back, but let's just do it again for a laugh.
Your circumstances, but I doubt when you hear the energy companies and the government talking about £3,500 possibly for energy bills going up to £4,000. I suspect, like many, many other people, you shudder at that because these are huge, huge amounts of money, which is why we say under a Labour government, we'd freeze those prices. We wouldn't allow them to go up, Ella, because what you're already paying is going to go through the roof. And I don't know how you would cope with that, Ella.
I work full-time, term time, because I've got a young child.
Yeah.
So I don't get paid that much.
Thank you, Ella. And it is just a reminder. I mean, I know politicians meet their constituents; they know this, but this whole country's hurting at the moment.
Oh,
and whether this might be too big for you or any party to sort out.
Yeah. Look, I mean,
in national government,
in terms of how it's impacting on people, obviously, part of my job is to be around the country the whole time to talk to people, and everybody's talking about this because they're really, really worried. I also, when I was growing up, my dad was a toolmaker. Worked in a factory. My mum was a nurse. We didn't have huge amounts of money, and I remember struggling with the bills and the telephone being cut off and things like that. So I know firsthand what it feels like to sit around the kitchen table and say, "Look, I just can't actually pay all this." And I know that millions of people are in that state of mind at the moment. They're worried sick. That's why I thought it was very important for us to have a very clear, simple policy. We'll freeze your bills. We won't allow that to happen. And we'll get oil and gas companies from their excess profits to pay for that freezing of the bills. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's a political choice. I think it's right that we do something about it because we can't just keep walking past this problem.
Again, and he does that, doesn't he? He does that fake sincerity thing. It's the worst thing about it is he actually thinks he's a good liar when he's a terrible liar, where he constantly repeats the name, like to try and sort of drum up some false sincerity. Ella, let me tell you, Ella, my dad was a tool maker. We barely paid the bills. Shut up, rat bastard. And I'm sure there's no one who lives in the UK that isn't aware that your energy bills are about 8 times larger than mine. But just in case anyone isn't aware how that promise went down, hey Google robot, are UK energy bills the highest in Europe? Yes, UK energy bills are among the highest in Europe for both households and businesses, particularly for electricity. The UK's domestic and industrial electricity price is significantly higher than most European countries. Have UK energy prices gone up in 2025? Yes, UK energy prices have increased in 2025 to the new price cap set by Ofgem, and the average annual bill for a typical household has risen by £35. It's now nearly £2,000. Nice one. Okay, happy to clear that up for everyone. So just to sum up, if you're listening and you're actually thinking this is a good idea, because it'll be more convenient and it definitely won't be mandatory, it will be mandatory. The power-mad globalist sociopaths running the UK are the most intrusive, authoritarian, lying shitbags that have ever been near power in the UK. David Starkey was 100% right. So was Peter Hitchens. I should have learned to listen to the old blokes, obviously. Especially the latter. He knew exactly what type of creature that scum suck, that walking Portaloo of a Prime Minister is. And the British public didn't listen, did they? Because I think they knew better. Just like the Lackwits in Caerphilly, who've just knocked reform back in order to elect the snack bar communist alliance. It's a crazy time to be alive. But we are where we are. If you're one of the 53% of Brits, again, astounding number, that thinks digital ID is a good idea, please let me know in the comments so everybody else can point and laugh. All right? I'm going to do Crime Watch Live today because there's so many foreign diddlers to talk about. I can't get through them all in one video, and I can't be bothered editing it if it's going to be 7 hours long. So tune in for that in a few hours, and I'll see you there. All right, thanks for tuning in. Toodle pip. Cheers.